Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 18th of January, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at currencies, then we'll look at stock markets, commodities, and last of all, some US tech stocks. Dollar is just strengthening a little bit this morning, up 0.25%, but we have been just in recent few weeks, we have been just falling away here, and we're still bearish below the cloud. We do have these downside targets back below 100 on the dollar index. We're at 158. As we explained yesterday, we could just be actually just pulling back to this what was resistance now becoming support. So it's too early to say that this is the beginning of a bigger sell-off. We're just at the moment really coming back to fine cloud support. And we do have these big long-term upside targets. A bit of uncertainty this week with the US presidential inauguration, so we are just seeing that uncertainty creeping through. The euro is down this morning, has been quite strong of late. The last several days we've been in a bullish trend. We do have these upside targets: 109, 111. The 107 target is met, so that is good, but we do still have a lot of downside targets here in the long and medium term. So this respite we expect to be short-lived, and cloud resistance will probably weigh on the euro. It's just a case of when. Sterling had a big jump yesterday off the Prime Minister's speech on Brexit, but we are seeing that deteriorate away again. The key thing is this the beginning of the bottom for sterling? Well, we have lots of downside targets, no new upside targets. We do have this new upside target to 132 on the basis of that jump. But what we now need to do is we've pulled back. We now need to then go higher to confirm and activate that. That's the whole point of a move like this, is that we come back, and if we go higher and activate that, then that's got the chance that we are seeing the first sign of reversal. Of course, we've seen quite a lot of false dawns on sterling, but yesterday was quite a big rise. Can we break through on the medium-term cloud? No signs yet of that happening. So this just sets us up potentially for another fall. Keep an eye on that and the 1-minute chart as well. Looking at the euro rate, we see much the same picture here. We don't have as clear upside target on this chart, and then the Swiss, we've just seen a little bit of an improvement as well. So we jumped against all currencies pretty much yesterday. Australian dollar up a couple of cents as well. But the key thing is, can we continue that run? Taking a look at stock markets, the S&P 500 is still bullish on all three time frames, and we do have these upside targets. We are just in a little bit of uncertainty at the moment, moving sideways. But we'd expect the move to the upside. The market's looking pretty good all round, and same with the Nasdaq, still bullish above the clouds on all three time horizons. The Dow just bearish on the short term, so we're just struggling to make this 20,000 mark. We are really in a sideways range here, and it's when we break and run that we'll see 20,000 smashed. But for the moment, it's just, again, just that uncertainty in the US. And the Russell 2000 also just below the cloud, so we're just seeing that too. The futures are up slightly this morning, so we should see the US market open up just slightly. FTSE pulled back yesterday, not a big surprise after quite a big run. It's 12, 13 consecutive days. We're finding cloud support this morning on the lagging line, so that's looking okay. We do have a shortage of short-term targets, though, and if we look at the FTSE 250, we are already wandering through the cloud, which just suggests short-term we are going to see some pressure there. The DAX, much the same, just below the cloud in the short term. The Nikkei, might remember in Japan, we had a pretty big down day yesterday. Overnight we've actually recovered slightly, but we are now bearish below the cloud. So we're just seeing quite a few of these markets short term. China, Hong Kong, just below the cloud. So Hong Kong is actually holding its cloud position, so that's encouraging. We look at India, we're still bullish here above the cloud, and just wandering out on the price as well. So India is starting to look really good as well. The Australian market also just wandering through on the cloud, so just seeing some short-term bearish pressure coming in there. Looking at Brent is up this morning and 55.70. We've got these targets into the high 50s, so we expect that to happen. Remember, this is the time of year we expect Brent to run. It's the driving season. We saw that last year. We see it most years. We saw it in 2015, even against a backdrop of a falling market. But we are bullish above the cloud on all three time frames. So we're seeing pretty much a bullish picture building here, and much the same for WTI. US Nat Gas down about 1.5%. We're just coming through on the cloud here. We have had a great run, but we do now just have a downside target. A lot of volatility in the gas market. We've talked about gold. Gold's had a great run for the start of the year. It really is a really strong rise here. Down a little bit this morning, but we do have this new upside target which was activated yesterday of $1,271. So that's another 5% upside for gold. So that is looking pretty good, and that's activated that target. So we expect the move in gold to continue, and much the same for silver as well. And we're seeing really quite bullish thrusts moving in on precious metals generally, so that's looking quite good. Treasury yield on the 10-year still just bearish below the cloud, but the long-term position is still pretty good. Taking a look at tech. We see Apple is above the cloud on all three time frames. We see the same for Google. It's got an upside target of nearly 2% on the on that chart. We see the same for Amazon. Again, 12% upside in the short-term chart, bullish on all three time frames. We're now through on the cloud. Facebook has had a great run over the last week or two, so we're seeing that, and now just coming through the cloud on the daily as well. So a real recovery going on there. Microsoft, another bellwether, not so dynamic. It's just on this short-term chart, just struggling a little bit, but we've got great targets on the longer term. And of course, Nvidia, my best performing stock last year, is selling off a little bit at the moment. We are just below the cloud here, but we shouldn't be surprised to see such volatility after such a big move in the stock. And we do have this downside target now for the first time, so maybe it is time for Nvidia to just sell off a bit. But the interesting thing is that we'll just watch for the short-term recovery. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.